Yeah. Yeah.
Painful problem. Locally, very little.
Suddenly, you can mirror the email, the lecture later on. Other people were logged on. They can see also later on.
Excuse me.
They can see.
I see there is a problem here.
This is not a projector. They can still hear.
Even here there is a problem. So, well, let's begin as it is. I think. Okay. Namaste and welcome to the fifth session of Patanjali meditation. Today we have had to change our regular venue, and this new venue became available slightly late. And then there are some new slots, and we are still not able to figure out why the cables are not functioning properly, reliably. But let's do it. And what I will do is, later in the afternoon, I will conduct this session solo, just myself, and will record it so that at least everybody has a recording of what ought to be the fifth session. So at this point, I am just beginning as it is. Those who are assembled here, they are unable to see the slides properly. They can hear me. And those who are in the distant mode, webinar mode, I think the link is also not working that well, but I hope they are able to see me and hear me as well. Let's proceed further with the slides that I use. I am Yeah, this is our first customized slide where we devote about 5 minutes to what I call informal meditation. And in a couple of weeks, I should be able to explain why is this informal and so-called formal, and when do they join hands together. So, but let's bear with us, bear with the situation. Everything takes time. So we are here beginning with a very small mantra, which is Om Satchidananda, and just devote about 5 minutes. And I put an alarm also so that we unnecessarily the mind thought waves don't go here and there. It's 3 minutes past 10 in my clock, so I set an alarm for 10:08. Om Satchidananda. 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 We can be slowly, gradually open our eyes, not too abruptly. And let's move on to, yeah, today I have a Ved mantra from Atharvaved 4.35.4. Yasman masa nemita svinshadaya samvatsaro yasman nemito dwadashaya ahoyatra yam payanto napusteno danen atitayani mityum. Yasmat is out of that entity. Masa is mass, means month. Nemita is made. Trinshad 30. Aya means spokes. So imagine the time is a wheel, is a with 30 spokes, and as it moves around, it completes 1 month. Out of, and that notion of time is created by that infinite soul, that entity who is supreme consciousness. So he has created the parameter called as time, and that is such that 30 days make 1 month. Samvatsaro yasman nemito. Samvatsar means the year. Yasmat is out of that same entity. Nemito is made. Dwadashaya. Now, such 12 rotations, 12 spokes, there is another wheel which has 12 spokes, Dwadasha, and that makes Samvatsar. So 12 months make 1 year. What is being said is, out of that supreme consciousness, time has been created, and that can be measured, that out of 30 days complete 1 month, and 12 such months complete 1 samvatsar, 1 year. Ahoyatra, day and night, yam payanto, that who aborts in him or who thinks about him, napuh steno. So this is, I think, what we were discussing last week, that food for the soul. I have to connect to that entity to get energized in my innermost dimension. Just like I was saying, if I want to give food to the body, I sit on the dining table. When I want to give food for the thought, I am focused on some speaker or some book, etc. And then deep in meditation, I am focused to my soul is connected to that infinite soul, and that brings me a different kind of most subtle energy. And that's what is being said in the last quarter. Ten odanen. Odanen is food. Atti. The root is atti, to eat. So what is being said is, I can supply food to my innermost shell, and if I am connected to that entity day and night, at the confluence of day and night, in the morning and in the evening, ati tayani mrityum, and that energy is so brilliant, it helps me cross the death also. Of course, the layman knows that we all are going to die one day, but like the time is a cyclic phenomena, so is day and night, so is birth and death. So I die, I take birth, then die again. So the cycle of birth and death keeps on moving. And that is what is being said here. If I energize myself with that subtlest energy, that is, if my soul is connected to that supreme soul, and for that the necessary condition is for my body and mind to become thoroughly inactive. And if that happens, that with that energy, I will never be dying again. Tayani mityum. I will cross over the ocean of the death, where there is never going to be another death. So my English translation is, by whom a month has 30 days, by whom a year has 12 months, one who dwells in him day and night, he or she crosses over death with that subtle energy. Let's move on to Yoga Sutra. We have covered up to 1.17, 18 and 19. And as we have seen, the whole story, if you look at this diagram, the rightmost part is 5 modifications. In the very beginning, we looked at 1.5, Vittaya, Panchtaya, Klishta, Aklishta. So as a practitioner, meditation practitioner, beginner, my job is to subdue those modifications. Then I make a jump to the green arrow. I am in the direction of yoga. And then we have had a good discussion which brought us to the point 1.17, Vitak Vichara Ananda Smita Rupa Nugamat Sampajyat Samadhi. The intuitive cognition at 4 level that is shown here is in the yellow arrows. And then Patanjali is saying they are good. We enjoy that deep state of meditation, like I will say what is called Sushupti, the deep sleep. That is also very nice to be enjoyed. But when I want to come out of it, I am in the daylight, I have to function. Similarly, here Patanjali is saying, Sampajya Samadhi is also very good, but don't stay hooked to it. Go further in the left direction towards finally what is called Asampajya Samadhi, Nibbid Samadhi, or Vivek Khyati. I was trying to explain Sampajya Samadhi as if there is a mirror and I am looking at it. then there are different kind of possibilities. And at the end, Patanjali is saying, you should know that you are not the image you see in the mirror, but you are distinctly different from the mirror. And that is the point we have to go further in. Then he was making a statement, Bhav Pratyayo Videh Pakete Layanam. There are some people who have some talents from their previous life, and they are in the direction of yellow arrows, and then they have an edge, and then they can march to the left direction with great ease. For normal people like us, he said 1.20, Shraddha Vi Smriti Samadhi Prajna Purva Kitesham. For others, they have to go in 5 steps. Shraddha, then Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, and Prajna. This is what we were discussing last week. And this week we come to a new topic at 1.23, Ishwar Pranidhanadva. This is a very important topic. This is a very central topic to Patanjali Yoga, and this will come at least 3 times in this chapter 1 and again twice in chapter 2. So that was the reason I took up chapter 1, and as soon as this topic ends today, then next week we will beginning with the chapter 2. Because of Ishwar Pranidhan, I had to take the chapter 1, but I have made these remarks that chapter 1 is for very superior kinds of mind where there is no klesh, what is called, and as you will see, very chapter 2, the first statement is Tapaswadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. Ishwar Pranidhan is coming again, so that was another reason. And second statement in chapter 2 is Samadhi Bhavanatha Klesh Tanukaranathascha. So he's talking about Kriya Yoga. In the next week we'll discuss it. What is the purpose of that? To diminish what is called klesh. So chapter 2 is for those who have chitta, our inner mind, with inbuilt embedded klesh, which we'll define later. Tentatively I have translated it as ignorance. So here, chapter 1, what is called, titled as Samadhi Path, is for very superior mind, where there is no klesh, they have very pure mind. So that is why chapter 1 is not that relevant to us, but because of Ishwar Pranidhan, so I think every meditation teacher or yoga, Patanjali yoga teacher has to develop his method, how to teach, because chapter 1 is very high level, and chapter 2 is more relevant to us. And of course, next few weeks we will devote to chapter 2. Let's take this chapter, new topic of Ishwar Pranidhan. Let's move on to my next slide, where I translate Ishwar Pranidhan as love and surrender, like I will say a small child has towards his mother. So that the feeling, that association of a child towards his mother, just imagine, that is what, if I have developed towards that presiding infinite soul, then I have this parameter attribute of Ishwar Pranidhan. So I am translating 1.23 as else Pranidhanadva. So this is a discretion, so that is why it is else. But what he's saying is, if you adopt this, your journey will be very expeditious. So that is why he is including it and giving 6 or 7 statements on this, which is very unusual. Otherwise, he brings a topic and discusses it in 1 or 2 statements. So love and surrender to the presiding infinite soul, so-called, he gives him a term, Ishwar, can expedite this journey. I could have translated as God, but I hesitate to do it because God is a common term and everybody has his own ideas about God. So I will stick to the term Ishwar, and then he is defining this term Ishwar in next few statements. 1.24 is Klesh Karm Vipak Ashaya Paramishta Purush Vishesha Ishwara. If you remember, in the very first session in the beginning, I had an elaborate diagram of 25 elements from Sankhya. It began with Purush and Prakriti, matter. So Purush is consciousness. So we all have that. We are Purush in that sense. We have a tiny consciousness, that inherent light, so to say. My soul, our tiny soul is our Purush. But then he's saying Ishwar is Purush Vishesh. He is a unique, different kind of consciousness. In what way he is different? Klesh karm vipak ashay paramishta. He is untouched. Ishwa is unique, superior to all souls, untouched by klesh, ignorance, karma, fruits of karma, and intent for fruits. So let me just describe these scales. So, firstly, I have clash in the sense I am ignorant and I do go after the pleasures of life, but I am somehow, because of that inbuilt ignorance in my mind, I don't go after the true source of pleasures. I go what is transient pleasures in life, and for that I make an effort. That effort is called karma. So klesh gives rise to karma because I want to upgrade my quality of life. I go after certain objects of pleasure, but I am mistaken because I don't get guided properly. Then once I make an effort, then due to the so-called law of karma, every effort brings a fruit. So, but there is a gestation period. In that gestation period, the karma is getting ripened. So that is called karma vipak. So klesh gives rise to karma gives rise to vipak, and then comes the reward. And then once I have enjoyed that reward, I seem to be enjoying it, and then I say, I have a tendency in my mind to go after it again and again. That is called as karmasha. So klesh gives rise to karma gives rise to karma vipak, then I enjoy the taste of the fruit, and then I have further tendency to go after it. That is called karmasha. Aparamishta means that entity which we are talking about is untouched by all these parameters which are relevant only for us. So he is defining Ishwar in the direction of karma, and you will again remember in the very first session I was saying in the typical 24 hours of our life, I am the soul, the consciousness, and I have the instruments of body and mind which we are using for incoming knowledge and outgoing action. So, incoming knowledge is called jnana, outgoing action is called karma. So, from the parameter of karma, Patanjali has defined how Ishwar is different from us. Now, next statement 1.25 is Tat Niyatishayam Sarvajya Bijam. He is omniscient with his seed, unequaled or unsurpassed. So he's saying when it comes to the knowledge part, we gain knowledge with time, but he is a all-knowing, he is omniscient. Then he's saying, he's not just saying Sarvajya, he's saying Sarvajya Bijam because his knowledge is very unusual. For us, firstly, the things in the surroundings exist, and then I gain knowledge about that thing. But in his case, he has all the knowledge, and then he has created all the things that exist in the universe. So, in our case, things have appeared first: the clouds, the sun, the earth, the air, and water. All these things have been before we came into this world, and we are trying to build up our knowledge about these things. But in his case, he has the knowledge about these things first, then according to that knowledge, he has created these things. So there is a difference. So that's what he's saying. Savaji Bijam, he has the seed of all that knowledge. Tattva means within him, Niyatishayam, which cannot be equaled or surpassed by anybody else. Hypothetically, a human being can gain knowledge. Maybe he becomes also all-knowing person, but he will never be like what that presiding entity Ishwar is. Now he's saying in 126, the transmission of knowledge, how do we learn from others? So that statement is also very important. 1.26, Uvesham api guru kalenan vachedat. He's saying typically, I learn from another human being, and then if I ask him, he also learned certain things from other persons. So this chain goes on, and this chain has to end with him only. So we are limited with knowledge, and again we should realize all that we know has originally originated from him alone, though I might have acquired it from different intermediate entities. Now 1.27 is saying Tasya Vachaka Pranava. Tasya means that entity is known by the sound that is called Pranava. So it is a very unusual, like in the world we have some names. Somebody is, say, Kamal. So he is known by Kamal and his name is Kamal. Now here, Patanjali is not saying that he is known by this name. He is saying that he is known by this sound, and that sound is called Pranav. Very unusual, and that sound is actually, that is what we used every time we sit for meditation, namely it is Om. But this sound is not referred as Om, this sound is referred as Pranav Dhvani. So that is a slight philosophical touch as far as the word and the grammar is concerned. This sound is not treated as a name like any other name. This is treated just as a pure natural sound, and the sound has a name, namely Pranav. And in another part of literature called Upanishads, the same sound is called as Udgit. So that is what it is. Then he's saying in 1.28, Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. So now what he started with, Ishwa Pranidhana Adva. How to do Ishwa Pranidhan? He's saying it should be done what is called japa, recitation. This sound should be recited, but then it is just recitation, not like Om, not just like saying it. He's saying Artha Bhavanam. You should go deep into the meaning of this sound. The example I would like to give is, a word has a meaning, what is called in Sanskrit Shabda and Arth. But he is using a very strong term, not Arth, he's saying Artha Bhavanam. So I'm trying to explain this very important part of this Patanjali's concept. Like imagine a small child, say 4 to 6 months, very small baby, who has a mother. So here the word is mother. And if you look at the meaning of the word mother, the dictionary meaning will be a female being who gives birth to a child, and among mammals, they develop milk for their child and so on and so forth. Now, if you look at that small child, he doesn't know the word mother. He doesn't know the dictionary meaning of this word mother, isn't it? But he knows all the intricacies, all the depth of being near to his mother. That he knows much more than any of us. So that I will say is an example. He knows the earth bhavanam of the word mother, though we may be very articulative in the sense that we know the word mother and its meaning. But when it comes to earth bhavanam, that small child knows it much more than any of us knows it. So that is what Patanjali is trying to say. And you might have noticed that though we use that sound in our meditative experience, but I have tried to explain it should go weaker and weaker, low in volume, and finally it go in silent mode. Because the recitation is not in the word or in the meaning, it is supposed to be in the earth bhavana, isn't it? Where everything should get lost. You are just like that child is just in that ocean of, so to say, motherness. Whatever is that motherness, that child is fully submerged in that feeling, and he is not aware of the word mother and all that. So that is the kind of feeling I should get filled with, and that is what he is calling a jap. Another example I would give is, suppose you don't know swimming, or even if you know it, somebody forces your head under the water. Somebody is very powerful and he forces after half a minute, or maybe 2 minutes, you are so much disturbed, agitated, and you just want to bring out your head above the water, isn't it? Just imagine those 30, 60, 90 seconds, what are you going through? At that point, you are just gasping for air, isn't it? You are not thinking about air or the meaning of the word air. You just want it, isn't it? So when you want it in that sense, that is what is japa from Patanjali's point of view, artha bhavana. Then in 1.29, let me go to the next slide. 1.28 was recitation of the sound with its meaning of Ishwar contemplated is Ishwar Pranidhan. So he defined Ishwar in a couple of statements, and then he says, Tasya Vachaka Pranav, he is known by that sound, and now he's saying that is what is Ishwar Pranidhan. Now he's devoting one more statement, 1.29, what is the benefit of it. Tata, out of that, what will happen? Pratyak Chetana Adhigamo Api Antaraya Bhavasya. Now he's saying, with this recitation, with this Ishwar Pranidhan, this kind of recitation is Ishwar Pranidhan. So with this Ishwar Pranidhan, your inward journey will reach to its destination to the point that you will see your own true self. So thus through Ishwar Pranidhan, one gains self-realization and antaraya, all the obstacles which are coming in this inward journey will get removed. So that was a part of Yoga Sutra I wanted to cover today from 1.23 to 1.29, and there are about this chapter has total 55 or so, and 51. Now we are skipping all the remaining ones, and next week we will start with the second chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, that is called Sadhana Pad. Samadhi Pad is at climax. Sadhana Pad is the means to get to that end. So that is more relevant to us, and that is where we stand. So let's move on to what are our 5 steps of Patanjali Yoga. You know, we are following Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, which will be coming in the later part of second chapter. I will say 3 to 4 weeks later, we should reach there. And out of Ashtanga Yoga, we have taken away 5 practice part, which is asana, pranayam, pratyaha, dharana, and dhyan. I am not loading you with Sanskrit terms. So 5 terms I am always putting on the slide is body posture, deep breathing, instruction to mind, focusing the mind, and then meditation, which we say is the self going into the cave. And if the step 4 is mindfulness, I will say this is like mindlessness. So I want to be in my cave, disconnected from my mind, and not even be disturbed by my mind. So here I have these, because last time we discussed this jump from step 4 to step 5 using certain prototypes, like I have made my mind focused at the third eye, and then I say that let's continue to look into the sky and go into the deep sky, that is imaginary sky existing in my forehead, something like that. And then I gave some alternative prototypes, etc. Today I wanted to improve upon our basic meditation with giving a concept of what I call meditation loop. So you will see I'm talking about 3 loops, and starting with the meditation loop 1. So this is here we have traversed from step 1 to 2, 3, 4, and 5. And imagine I am in my cave, which is I am disconnected from my mind, void of thoughts, nothing is happening in my mind, so I am disconnected from it. But then, as you know, as a beginner, as soon as I am in that, a couple of seconds later, or maybe 10 seconds later, my mind tends to send in a thought wave. And that is where the challenge is, how to remain in meditation and how to make it happen that my mind doesn't disturb me when I am in my cave. So I am making there 3 levels. I will say very mild, imminent engagement with mind. So if you were to look at it, an analogy, I will say, I somehow am very much fascinated with mother-child analogy. So just imagine you are a mother and you have a small child who is very close to you. You are working in the kitchen or wherever it is, and there is a child. And for a few moments, you have somehow convinced your child, you just sit on a small chair and don't disturb, don't move at all. you just stay put there. It's very difficult for a child to do it, and that is what is applying to our mind also. So imagine the mother here is the soul, the me, and the child is my mind. So I am somehow, I have convinced my mind, or the mother has convinced her child, you just stay on this chair for 5 minutes or so and don't disturb me at all. Just immobile on this chair. Now, the first tendency the mother sees is the child is slightly, restless, slightly moving around. That is the first sign that child is not quite happy with being immobile, like an idol. Then mother just gives a look to him, and no, that's what I meant. You just stay put there. So that sort of a thing I am suggesting. If you look at in our this 5-step journey, you are here and you see that your mind is slightly hovering, is beginning to move at all, beginning to move, then as if you just give it a look. No, I expect you to stay put there. So what I'm trying to say is, this is a concept of meditation loop. You have somehow come up to this point and you see a sign that the mind is trying to bring you back to the step 4, then rather than coming back here, or you are coming here because you give a look at your mind and you expect your mind to become focused at that point, and then you come back into the cave that where you were. So I will call it, this is meditation loop 1, where you go there, don't quite go there, but you have a look at that point and come back here. That is what is shown here is in the arrows, that you are at step 5, momentarily you go to step 4, but come back there. Then let's look at another meditation loop 2, where in this mother-child analogy, probably the child was moving around. He is very much moving and being dynamic. Now the mother is almost telling, look, she's saying something. She is not just looking at the child, she speaks out, no, I mean business, you just stay put there. So that means she is like, in this language, you are coming to the step 3, instruction to mind, and you say, oh, because you are speaking out, and then you again focus your mind here. That was your step 4, and again you walk into the cave. So what I'm saying is, you are here, but your meditation was disturbed. I will say it is a mild engagement. So you chose to come out here, and then you instructed your mind again, go to step, and then you come to the third eye, focus it at third eye, step 4, and then you come back at step 5. Point is, you are at step 5, but you are being disturbed. Depending on the level of activity mind has picked up, you decide to come back to step 4 or to step 3. And in the next slide, I am showing as if you decide you have to come to step 2. Here what I will do is, indeed, in the previous weeks, you might not have noticed it. That's what I used to suggest always. When we are going in meditation, if your meditation is disturbed, you see a thought wave coming, you again instruct your mind with the sound Om. You remember, this I've been saying again and again. So in this today's terminology, as if I was suggesting, you take meditation loop 2, you instruct your mind again focus it at the third eye, and again come here. The point is, as you are learning meditation, you should not give up. Be very persistent and demand from your mind, I want disconnection from you for some few moments. And of course, this kind of a tuning will help you, and that what is training your mind, and you will definitely succeed. And if you are succeeding now, you are in the well of meditation for say 10 seconds, 20 seconds, this will gradually expand and you will see definite progress on it. So meditation loop 3 is basically where you see a heavy engagement, as if a thought wave came in and you were entertaining it. And then you suddenly realize, oh, what? I am thinking all this while I am supposed to be in meditation, isn't it? So you take a conscious decision that I want to come back here, but you know it. If you are thinking, you are already out of your cave. So the suggestion here in this IO diagram is you consciously come here, not do a lot of breathing cycle. What I'm suggesting, just a deep breathe out. And just imagine that whole web of thoughts you have thrown away, it has been thrown out. So now you are here, then you again recite within your mind, again focus at the third eye, and again walk into your cave. So that is what is the concept of meditation loop. I am suggesting that once you reach stage of meditation, then you want to be remaining there. Now with this discussed, we are ready what we call formal meditation following Patanjali's 5 steps. The 5 steps are given here, that the body posture, deep breathing, instruction to mind, focusing the mind, and then walking into the cave alone, being in meditation. So again, sorry that today we have started about 15, 20 minutes late. But I don't want to delay that because the late was, it was on my account due to my fault. So at this point in my clock is 10:40. We are 10:45 is the scheduled time to end, but I hope you will let me do it 5 minutes extra. So I am making 10:50, and here we do about 10 minutes of formal meditation following Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. Let us sit in the posture of Siddhasana or Sukhasana, or whichever way you are comfortable. You can shake away stiffness from your neck and shoulder region. Just try to be comfortable. Now we do 3 cycles of deep breathing with 4 phases in each cycle. Sorry, just let me go to my webinar room there. So stop sharing because this is the time when generally I move off the slides. Okay. So now we go for deep breathing. Step 2. Deep breathe out. Hold the breath out. Deep breathe in. Hold the breath within. Breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold the breath within. One more last cycle. Deep breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold it within. Now we hand over our breathing to our body's automated mechanism because we don't want to be connected to it anymore. This is a background force. Our body will do it in its automated manner. Now we reach our mind and we instruct it to cooperate with me for the subsequent moments when I desire to be in my cave. And today we have discussed at length the concept of meditation loop. I hope you can utilize that concept so as to maximize your time duration in your cave. Let's instruct our mind with that sound 5 times together. Om. Om. We can gradually open our eyes. To all our distant learners, as I said, I will review this today's recording, and if I find that this is not acceptable, then I will redo it again in a solo mode. Otherwise, will be sent to all who have attended it. Okay, thank you all. See you next week.